Yeah, man, but it's beautiful, man. If you look on the right, you can kind of see the river here. It's really, really gorgeous. And as you're coming down the river, there are parts of the river you can actually swim in. You don't have to worry, this water is very, very clean, you know. Jamaica is made up of 80% limestone, and limestone acts as like a natural filter. So when the rain falls in the mountains, by the time it seeps down into valleys, it has to pass through this rock. Because the holes are so small, as it passes through the rock, all the impurities get filtered out. You know, limestone is used in other filters, like home filters, these new type of, what do they call these filters again? You see little stones in them and stuff that you can put it on your shower. Yeah, so, yeah, man. Yeah, so it's normally a part of that, you know, it helps to filter out stuff used for cement and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, it filters the water and makes it pure. So by the time it comes here to the river, it's super clean. The color of the water is actually the color of the things that surround it. So if you notice, it's like a greenish tinge to it, and that's because of the trees around it. So when the sun comes above it, it's blue, because then it's the sky basically reflecting in the water. If you take it up in your hand, it's like crystal clear.
So with stuff like this, how you know it's not no alligators or anything in it?
So it's based on living in islands like these, you know where they're at. So alligators do not like running water. They like swamps. So if you go, like when we're down in the flats, down there, yeah, you'll find crocodiles down in the flats. Up here, because of the steepness, so there are parts of these rivers where they're actually like cliffs. So it's not here, it's further down, but it's like waterfalls. They're not gonna come up a waterfall. And the swamp is so huge, they don't think about coming up there. They also have barriers and stuff like that, just in case. But yeah, you never get crocodiles and stuff up here, man. You can swim in the water, no problem. But now if you go down to the swamplands, that's a different story. And anywhere you see still dead, beautiful water, do not go there. Just